Mulder's life was far from perfect. She faced deep personal struggles, which eventually made her step away from the spotlight, never to be seen again. Here's Karen Mulder, the supermodel who lived the dream and faced the nightmare.
I went into a modeling competition when I was 17, and friends of mine sent in pictures, and that's how it all started.
So here is where it all began. Mulder was on a family vacation with her parents in the south of France when she heard of the elite model look competition. Before we continue, let me tell you more about this competition. It was the biggest annual modeling scouting competition with more than 500 models competing.
I never thought I was pretty, really. I mean, it's only been a few years that people started saying to me that I was pretty. I mean, I never felt like I was a very pretty girl.
Mulder wanted to apply, but she had braces, and so she thought she'd never win. At the time, Mulder was just 17 years old and had braces. So Mulder's initial hesitation is understandable. She returned back home and told her friends about this competition. Her homegirls thought she could totally win, so they sent out her application. And in a shocking turn of events, Mulder was second runner-up, and her journey to stardom began. Before we get into her career, let me take you back a little. Mulder was born in 1970. Her father was a tax collector while her mother was a secretary, so we can say she lived a pretty comfortable life.
No, my parents were not very happy, especially my father. He was very upset. He really didn't want me to, leave Holland and give up my school and start working, but I really wanted to, and I had a long conversation with my dad, and in the end I told him, if you don't let me go, I'll blame you for it all my life, and that worked.
Modeling wasn't part of her parents' plan. In fact, her father wanted her to become a corporate girl. Mulder's supermodel era. Soon after being scouted, she joined elite model management and moved to Paris. Her rise to fame was fast, almost as if she were catapulted into the spotlight. Her career started in 1985, and she went on to dominate the runway throughout the 90s. In 1989, she began working with the big dogs. We are talking about Chanel, Dior, and Versace runways. Karl Lagerfeld from Chanel was especially fascinated by her walk. Fast forward to the early 90s, and Mulder had added Valentino, Yves Saint Laurent, and Jean-Paul Gaultier to her portfolio. At around this time, she had become one of Gianni Versace's favorites alongside Linda Evangelista and Naomi Campbell. In 1992, she became a Victoria's Secret model. In fact, she was one of the originals. Mulder was a combination of elegance and sensuality, which perfectly fit the Victoria's Secret brand. Her gracious blonde curls, delicate features, and lethal face made her truly look like an angel. Now on top of that, Mulder featured in many campaigns such as Claude Montana, La Perla, Guess, Revlon, and L'Oreal. Not only that, she was also a cover girl. She worked with legendary photographers such as Steven Meisel and Herb Ritts for Vogue. Mulder was also featured in other magazine covers including Elle, Marie Claire, Harper's Bazaar, Allure, Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and Vanity Fair. Magazine editors called her the blonde with class. Even with all this fame and success, Mulder decided to retire and leave it all behind. Her last major show was the 1999 Victoria's Secret runway show, but even before that, she had already started to back away from the spotlight. Although she retired from the runway, she did participate in several campaigns in the early 2000s. Like many other models of the time, she decided to dip her toes into the film and music industry. Remember Tyra Banks' unsuccessful music career? Mulder's journey was no different. In 1998, she released the song I Am What I Am, and it made some rounds across Europe. And here's the thing, Mulder didn't just wake up one day and decide to get into music. She had said multiple times that she loved singing. In fact, it was a childhood passion. That and sailing. She revealed in an interview, "Music turns me on." And true to this, the Dutch sweetheart released an album in 2004 which consisted mainly of French songs. Her acting career was quite brief. One movie, really. She landed a supporting role in the French film Le Drapeau in 1997. And surprisingly, she was quite good. In 2001, Mulder made the headlines. And this time, not for her modeling or music career. You see, she had been in the industry for more than a decade now. She had seen the good, but unfortunately also the bad, and she found the courage to speak up about it, knowing very well that such a move was career suicide. In October 2001, she was hosted on the television talk show Tout le monde en parle, where she made shocking revelations about the modeling industry. She claimed to have been sexually abused by multiple high-profile individuals in and out of the industry. Mulder basically said that her agency had been pimping her out to people, including the reigning monarch of Monaco, Prince Albert II. It is important to note that it was very rare for 90s models to be open about mistreatment. The industry was controlled, and models were pressured to keep quiet. And true to that, her interview was buried, and her mental health questioned. The footage was deleted, and she was labeled unstable. Soon after this interview, her sister, Christina Mulder, who is a doctor, committed her to a psychiatric hospital for 5 months. The public was told that Mulder was having a mental breakdown, which sadly overshadowed her serious claims. After her release from the psychiatric hospital, Mulder issued a public apology to the Prince of Monaco. Whether she was pressured into it, or she had been indeed mentally unwell when she made the allegations, it is not clear. But get this, that didn't stop her. Mulder had a point to make. So in January 2002, she got an interview with the French weekly magazine VSD, where she continued to talk about the sexual abuse she went through in the industry. In that same interview, she also alleged to have been sexually abused by her father since the age of 2, sparking a lot of shock and disbelief, to which family members openly denied. In the interview, Mulder said, "When you publish this article, it will be the beginning of the end of my suffering. I want justice, that's all." This interview was not buried. The people did receive her message. Her father, Ben Mulder, came forward saying, "I'm certain cocaine caused Karen's desperate situation." Her father described her as emotionally and physically broken. So far, it is clear that Mulder empowered models to speak up about their struggles, even though she was widely criticized for telling the same. In recent years, models and generally women are not afraid to speak out. For example, Gigi Hadid, Adriana Lima, and Kendall Jenner have come out with their experiences or supported other models with such stories. Fast forward to December 2002, Mulder was found lying unconscious in her Paris apartment by her former fiancé, Jean-Yves Le Fur. She had overdosed on sleeping pills. She was promptly taken to the hospital, and luckily, she woke up from a coma 2 days later. Her parents flew in from the Netherlands to offer their support. Now, the reason behind Mulder's suicide attempt remains clear because there were different takes from multiple people. But perhaps the one that made the most sense was that the aftermath of the interviews took a mental toll on her. You see, Mulder expected people to believe and support her. I mean, if you come out with such a vulnerable story and they silence you, bash you, and eventually institutionalize you, wouldn't you be overwhelmed too? She was gaslighted in public. Everywhere Mulder went, she was the crazy girl who lied about her own father taking advantage of her. And we cannot forget that the modeling industry has its own pressures. Mulder said that she was constantly trying to deal with people who were trying to take advantage of her. Some of her friends said that her failing music career was the cause of her suicide attempt. Seeing that this was a career path that she deeply loved, she had been devastated due to the lack of support and recognition. Guess we'll never know for sure. Mulder's story does not end there. In 2006, she gave birth to her daughter, Anna. Details about Anna's father have remained secret. In 2009, 39-year-old Mulder was arrested after threatening her plastic surgeon over the phone. It is alleged that she was dissatisfied with a previous procedure and wanted corrective surgery. However, the surgeon said that she could get more Botox on her face, which made her extremely angry. The plastic surgeon alleged that she had been harassing her for months, and she was scared for her life. We cannot forget to cover Mulder's romantic relationships. Mulder got married just a year after entering the modeling industry. That's right, she got married at 18. She married French photographer René Bossin in 1988, and their marriage lasted 5 years. After that, she only got engaged to real estate developer Le Fur, who found her in her apartment after her suicide attempt. They never got married. Other than that, Mulder has been able to keep her personal life private. She has made a few public appearances here and there, but has not made a comeback like Tyra Banks, Kate Moss, and Adriana Lima, who were on the 2024 Victoria's Secret runway. Mulder is a woman who experienced a meteoric rise to the spotlight and surpassed success in her career, but eventually her personal struggles overshadowed her achievements. The real ones know that Karen Mulder is a force to reckon with. If she was still in the industry today, her openness would be applauded.